Okay, so when a city is failing, whether it's from old age, a disaster, or just plain neglect, where do you even start to fix it? It's a huge question, and today we're going to dig into what the experts think is the #1 priority when it comes to rebuilding our cities.
Just think about that for a second. If your city was on the operating table, what would you tell the surgeon to focus on first? The roads and buildings? All the parks and the air quality? Or maybe the community centers and historic landmarks? It's a really tough call, right? And it gets right to the heart of what experts call urban transformation.
The study we're looking at today has this great way of framing it. Cities are like living organisms. They're born, they grow, and, eventually, they need some healing. That whole healing process, well, that's urban transformation. It's basically the medicine for a city's fabric when it gets damaged by disaster, decay, or just the pressures of modern life.
And the reasons for this city surgery have changed, a lot over time. Back in the 19th century, it was all about cleaning up the mess from the Industrial Revolution. Then, fast forward to the mid-20th century, the big challenge was managing these huge migrations into cities. And today, wow, we're juggling this super complex mix of disaster risk, environmental sustainability, and, just the basic human need for a good quality of life.
And this brings us right to the central dilemma. With limited money and so many things that need attention, how on earth do city planners decide what to tackle first? It's a super high-stakes question, and there are definitely no easy answers.
Let's try framing it this way. What do you prioritize? A city's bones, its basic structure and safety? Or do you focus on its lungs, the environmental health, the green spaces? Or is it all about its soul, that social and cultural fabric that really makes a city feel alive? To get a real answer, we're going to turn to this really fascinating study out of Turkey that put this exact question to the experts. They wanted to figure out which of these competing visions for a city truly matters the most.
So what the researchers did was they gathered a panel of 13 really seasoned experts through Turkey's Chamber of City Planners. We're talking academics, city managers, and engineers. These are the people who live and breathe urban planning every single day, so their opinions have a really solid, credible foundation.
And this was their method. At the very top, you've got the main goal, expected benefits from urban transformation projects. Simple enough. And this branches out into those 3 dimensions we've been talking about: structural, environmental, and socio-cultural. Basically, the city's bones, lungs, and soul. The experts then had to weigh how important each of these was, along with all the little sub-criteria below them, against each other.
Okay, first up, the structural vision. This is all about the physical nuts and bolts of the city. We're talking about buildings that can actually withstand disasters, using materials that are built to last, and designing spaces that work for everybody, from commuters to kids to the elderly. This is the city's skeleton.
Next, we have the environmental vision, the city's lungs. This whole perspective prioritizes a healthy, sustainable environment. So think more parks, thoughtful landscaping, making sure people are protected from construction pollution, and of course, managing waste effectively. It's all about making the city a breathable, healthy place to actually live.
And finally, there's the socio-cultural vision. Yep, the soul of the city. This dimension is all about the people. It's about preserving history and culture, making sure the public actually has a say in decisions, and creating a community that meets the social and recreational needs of everyone who lives there. So, the experts had to weigh the bones, the lungs, and the soul. And to make sure their findings were solid, they ran the numbers through 2 different analytical methods. And when the results came in, well, a very, very clear hierarchy emerged.
The verdict? It was decisive. The experts overwhelmingly prioritized the structural dimension. The city's bones came first, period. Its lungs, the environmental stuff, came in a solid second. And its soul, the socio-cultural dimension, was ranked third. And what's wild is, this pattern held true across both analytical methods they used.
Just how important was the structural dimension? One method gave it a weight of 0.650. To put that in perspective, that means the experts considered a city's bones to be nearly twice as important as its lungs and soul combined. The message here is pretty clear. Safety and stability are just non-negotiable.
But here's where it gets really fascinating, a little twist. So the experts used 2 different mathematical models to weigh their priorities. And while structural was always the top category, the single most important specific goal actually changed depending on the model. One model pointed to taking disaster risks into account as #1, but the other one ranked design of open spaces and landscaping as the absolute top priority.
So this tells us that even when we all agree on the big picture, the best place to start is still kind of up for debate.
And if you look at the full ranking of all 17 criteria, the top priorities become crystal clear: disaster risk, durable materials, and protecting human health. Now, given Turkey's significant seismic activity, it's not really a surprise that disaster risk is number one. And at the bottom of the list, things like creating local jobs and ensuring public participation. It's not that those things are unimportant, but in a sort of emergency triage situation, the experts put immediate physical safety above everything else.
So what is the big takeaway from all of this? What does this expert verdict really mean for the future of our own cities and our own neighborhoods?
The core lesson here seems to be that a city is a system, and that foundation has to come first. I mean, without safe buildings and solid infrastructure, pretty much nothing else matters. But a city that is only safe, with no green spaces or any sense of community, well, that's not a place anyone is going to choose to live in.
Ultimately, it really is a balancing act. This study shows us that planners see structural integrity as the first, most urgent priority. But a truly successful city, one that's going to thrive for generations, has to build on that foundation by also nurturing its environmental health and its socio-cultural soul. In the long run, you just can't have one without the others.
And that brings us right back to you. The next time you're walking through your neighborhood, try looking at it through this lens. What does it need most? Stronger bones, healthier lungs, or maybe a more vibrant soul? The answer to that tells us a whole lot about where we are and where we need to go.